Here is a SiriusXM retrofit on a Tesla Model Y 2022 AMD. Now there are two tested and confirmed compatible device or tuner types that work with AMD Teslas. I will drop the part number down below in the description, but the first the one that I used is the /A variant, which came out with the pre-release Model S and Model X in 2021, and the very early versions of Model S and Model X. And then -B, which is the one that I believe is still being distributed in the Model S and Model X with SiriusXM functionality, is also on there. You'll need to do that both. Also, for a second requisite to make it work on an AMD, you need to be running 2023.44.1 or higher. Otherwise, you will just hear nothing. So you will need to update to at least that version, and you should be able to get SiriusXM fairly quickly thereafter. Got the antenna right here that is directly underneath the glass right here. So as you can see, sits directly underneath the glass component. Has a clear view of the sky with the cable that runs right over here through this cable channel, zip tied along this main cable harness, going through the back over here, looping up and inside, and then tightly wound around this, ensuring that that's out of the way so that this rear trim piece can go back on no problem, with the zip tie cleared up there, making sure it's not blocking any of these holes around here. The nice part about this antenna mounting location is you can put this lower rear trim piece on no problem, and it'll cover it up. And then the Fokker Curry connector, I actually have removed. You can see it sticking out right here. This is the connector that originally sat on this antenna component right here. I'll put it back on for demonstration purposes. It used to sit like that. Used a small little screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, to just pry it off, because believe it or not, the connector, just an RF receiver, male and female. Take that Curry connector off and you'll be able to friction connect it together here. So you can see, put that on real quick, get an idea, and it's actually pretty good. And then connection fairly short thereafter. But all of the extra is wound up in here. You got that running right there next to the FM receiver pad. Went on a 3-hour drive the other day, had about 2 seconds of cutout on that, so no big deal. And it was in a pretty foresty area, so. And you can see I've attached some Christmas lights for the time being, but back down there is where the radio is. You can't even see that it's there, and you see that we have great signal. Right up in here we got the SiriusXM app. Go ahead and turn the volume down. I got some talk on right now. You got all the stations, everything's on there. You can see that I got an active subscription here, so, and everything else works as far as SiriusXM goes. Now, anytime you unplug the rear tuner for whatever reason, testing, what have you, you can go about getting the tuner to work again one of two ways. One, you can completely reinstall your software, which I do recommend for the first time you plug in the SiriusXM tuner, so that it can re-ping the new tuner and find out that it has SiriusXM capability and enable the app for you. Otherwise, it won't show. Or, if I remember right, and according to the Tesla service manual, you can remove the low voltage from the frunk. That requires removing the frunk trim area and all that to unplug the low voltage up there. Far too much effort. So if you just need to reinstall your software, go into software, hold down on here, and enter service mode. And once you've enabled service mode, all you need to do is go to software reinstall. All you need to do is do software reinstall right there. And that'll allow you to to take care of it all. And that'll reinstall the software, get everything working. But that is that's SiriusXM working on there. What we'll do is I will tune to channel 1.
Expertly curated for any mood, occasion, or activity.
And you can hear
discover new music and enjoy even
it's SiriusXM.
from every decade in music.
One other thing that I noticed when using this and trying to get stuff to connect, for whatever reason they said I would get a refresh signal within 15 minutes of activating my radio. And it had been about 30 minutes and I still hadn't gotten anything. Just reboot by holding down these two buttons right there. When you do those two buttons and hold them down just in, it'll reboot the computer. When it boots back online, it'll fetch a new refresh and it'll recycle your subscription, and you should be able to change channels at that point. You may also have issues activating online. You may go to enter that radio ID that's in there, and for whatever reason it'll say, sorry, we're having an issue. This is what happened with me. Please contact us. Just contact support. Tell them, hey, this is a new component that's added to my vehicle. My vehicle did not have SiriusXM prior. Now I'm looking to add it. Here's the thing. They'll probably ask you for your VIN, your make, your model. They may ask you if it's a used car or a new car. This was a new car to me a year ago. Obviously no longer new, but they still had no issues giving me a free trial, 3-month free trial, and I'm gonna just try it out, see how it goes. So you may need to talk to chat in order to get this to activate. But once you get it activated, you'll see you have the SiriusXM thing in there, and if you don't, you can just go in sources and make sure that SiriusXM is enabled. This won't appear initially, I believe, on the first boot after reinstalling the software until you get internet is when it finally appeared for me. So just keep that in mind. There you go. That's my recommendations. I'll also drop in the description down below a link to the Tesla Motors forum topic discussing all this. You can see all of my comments through there and kind of follow along.
Imagine a long road trip where the designated DJ isn't forced to flip from station to station, avoiding commercials and trying desperately to find a signal. Where you're not forced to resort to endless rounds of the license plate game to kill time. Stop imagining and start listening to commercial-free music from nearly every genre, coast to coast. Subscribe to SiriusXM and your music stays with you, whether you hit the interstate or take the back roads. Call 844-711-8800 to activate your radio now.